When I was the impressionable age of 9 years old, my dad came home from the local pawn shop with a gift for me, a shiny new PlayStation 2. And by shiny and new, I mean probably stolen and pawned off for drug money. But most importantly, it was now a young Hammer's second console ever owned right after my prized Nintendo 64. With 3 games to keep it company: Gran Turismo 3, Tekken Tag Tournament, and Grand Theft Auto 3. Fuck those first 2 games, we're not here for that. I sunk my soul into Grand Theft Auto 3, and let me tell you something, my 9-year-old brain was never the same. But it occurred to me recently that out of all the PS2 Grand Theft Auto titles, GTA 3 seems to get the least amount of love. I mean, even you guys said it yourself in a poll that I posted, and I think that's a shame because that's where it all began. GTA 3 changed gaming forever. It may not be the best game by modern standards, I mean the game is over 20 years old at this point, but without GTA 3 to begin with, there would be no modern standards. So today, let's dive into the game and see the foundation to the open world crime sandbox genre that we all know and love. And I'm talking about the actual GTA 3 here today, not that definitive edition bullshit. Now, I'm no mathematician, but the 3 in the title of GTA 3 implies that there are some games before this one in the series, and at least 2, I would guess. Apparently, they were top-down games focused on violent crime, hence the name. But it's only obvious that games come to the 21st century by transitioning to 3D. All the cool games do it. After the successful release of GTA 2, another entry was greenlit, and while Rockstar was initially working on an isometric 3D title for the Dreamcast, the release of the PlayStation 2 created the opportunity for a true 3D world. This wasn't the first ever open world game, not by a long shot. There were games like Driver already that did a great job with that. This wasn't even Rockstar's first stab at a 3D open world either. They already released titles on the N64 like Body Harvest. At the time of GTA 3's development, they were also toying around with a 3D game based on the movie The Warriors, a title that we later saw come to reality in 2005. Rockstar wanted to make more than a game that you play though. They wanted to make a game where you could live. They wanted a game with player freedom, diverse worlds and interactions, immersion, living within a breathing city, and they pushed the limits of the PlayStation 2 to achieve these goals. And not just the world, but a sandbox filled with dozens of things to do. And not just a place to hold missions and objectives, but a place to drive around as a firefighter, push cars into the water as the drawbridge opens, pick up some chicks, and most importantly, hit 6 stunt jumps competing with your friends to see who could get the best one. The whopping 32 megabits of RAM in the PS2 allowed for little things to be added here and there, and little things add up to a lot when taking this game into consideration. Things like pedestrian logic, the chatter from pedestrians on the street as you run by and bump into them, gang affiliations, and gun battles in the street. You can even witness a guy walk up and steal a car right in front of you. Sometimes it happens to be a car that I was gonna steal first, and you know, you gotta respect the hustle. And of course the radio stations while driving the cars, something seen in every Grand Theft Auto game since and makes such a massive difference in the driving atmosphere. And it's not just the music either, but the talk shows, the commercials, and the news segments that bring this whole world to life and make it a little bit goofy as well.
I've tried everything, and I just couldn't keep those extra 200 pounds off. It started to affect my marriage.
She was too big for me, and I'll sleep with anything.
Even such minuscule things like missions and special cars, like hopping in a police car, a taxi, or a fire engine, can allow you to activate missions based on those vehicles, become a firefighter, a taxi driver, or a vigilante, just for fun.
I'm Batman.
The scope of the small and minute details are insane, but again, they are what really made this game so special. Sam Houser, Rockstar's co-founder, wanted Grand Theft Auto 3 to elevate the gaming sphere. He wanted to take inspiration from films and TV shows that he loved and to make an interactive movie of sorts, taking things from The Sopranos, Goodfellas, and Miami Vice to inspire this city, as well as using real-life environments in New York like Central Park and Times Square, and even real-life personalities like Donald Love being based on another dude named Donald from New York. GTA 3 set the standard for open world sandboxes in the same way that Mario 64 set the standard for 3D platformers. Every game that has come out since and has an open world environment that the player can run around and try things in and to see what they can do in this world all can trace their ideas and motives back to GTA 3. And while building an immersive and heavily detailed city, it could have been just another game with a really cool world. What really set Grand Theft Auto 3 apart and made it truly special were the cutscenes. Pre-rendered cutscenes already existed, of course, before GTA 3, but I'm hard-pressed to find any that hold a candle to the quality that's in this game. The animations were decent for the time, and they were fully voice acted by proper actors, a lot of which came from the shows and the movies that the game was based around, like Frank Vincent and Joe Pantoliano from The Sopranos, Michael Madsen from The Reservoir Dogs, and Michael Rappaport from that video of him yelling at a cat.
Ma, there's a weird fucking stray cat outside. It looks like Grandma, the fucking thing.
These cutscenes helped so much in turning what was another video game into an experience more mature and serious as well. In 2001, games were still seen as childish things, and if you're a grown-up playing video games, you're just a nerd. But GTA 3 also changed the way games were viewed by the general public. It both helped and hindered the reception, if we're being honest. On the positive side, it made serious stories and mature themes more commonplace. It started the Rockstar trend of edgy and shock value inducing moments, leading to games like Manhunt and Bully in the future. But on the flip side, these brought negatives as well, mainly news outlets and moms groups causing a stir over these mature themes, still insisting that video games are for children and these things aren't meant for children, completely ignoring the established ESRB ratings. But hey, most of my friends ended up with a copy of the game, and the kids who had strict parents just came to our houses to play them anyway, so maybe they were onto something. There's plenty of controversy to discuss, but for now, let's talk about playing GTA 3.
Hey, I'm bored. When you gonna drill me?
In a moment, sweetheart. I got a little business to take care of. I got a little job for you, pal.
Playing the game in the year 2023 is pretty striking, to say the least. I'm no stranger to old games on this channel, but if it wasn't for the nostalgia and the purposes of this channel, I would not have beaten this game again. There are tons of things just very dated, which is to be expected. It's over 20 years old, but man, was this game frustrating. The game opens with the scene of a bank robbery. 3 armed robbers come busting out of the back of a bank right as their getaway driver arrives. First with a briefcase in tow is Miguel, a member of the Colombian cartel. And right after him is a girl named Catalina. And finally is Claude, the protagonist of this game and boyfriend of Catalina's. They all sprint to the getaway car, but as Claude turns the corner, Catalina shoots him down, calling him too small time for her ambitions. I guess that's one way to break up with someone. Claude doesn't die though. Instead, he lives and is sentenced to 10 years in prison for the bank robbery, with Miguel and Catalina making it out with the cash. The next scene follows a police convoy transferring prisoners to the Liberty City Penitentiary. In the back of the transport van is Claude, a man named 8-Ball, and an older Asian dude. On the Callahan Bridge, the police van is ambushed by the Colombian cartel. They hold the officers at gunpoint and take the older Asian man with them before escaping and blowing up the bridge for some reason, isolating this island from the rest of the city. This island, called Portland, being one of 3 islands in the game, the other 2 being unlocked as the story progresses. Portland is a grimy and industrial area. It could be part of any eastern US city, but primarily based on areas of Queens and Brooklyn, and the docks area being directly inspired from ports in Scotland. Anyway, Claude and 8-Ball take the opportunity to escape the van themselves, taking out the cops and fleeing to a safe house in the red light district. On the way, the game gives you a little tutorial into the HUD elements like the minimap and some basic car controls. The minimap is nice, but this is immediately where I start to find some issues in the game. In modern titles, when you select a waypoint, you usually get a path to follow on the minimap showing you the best way to get there. That shit ain't here. It's not a problem for the first section of the game. When it starts to become an issue is when you have different islands unlocked and the waypoint is on a separate island than the one that you're on. So you don't know whether to drive straight to the marker or to hop onto the bridge and cross to the correct island. It's something that came up very often and was just frustrating, especially when it involves timed missions that are way too commonplace in this game. Also, there's no way to open a proper map view to get a better idea either. I don't need the path per se, but it would at least be nice to open up the map and to see where my final destination would be. The idea behind this was that you got a full-size map with the game case, back when game cases had useful shit in them, which is dope, but that doesn't help me when you give me vague markers on a mini-map that is barely bigger than a city block. Anyway, Claude and 8-Ball finally make it to the safe house and change out of their prison jumpsuits. 8-Ball decides to introduce Claude to Luigi Gottarelli, an associate of the Leone crime family that owns a sex club right around the corner. Arriving here, I also noticed that I selected an outfit for Claude for some reason, and he has a brown jacket and a mustache instead of his iconic Claude look. And he also didn't have any mustache in the opening cinematic, so in my headcanon of this game, Claude throws on a fake mustache after escaping the police van to stay incognito. After arriving at Luigi's back door, 8-Ball walks right in and gets some attention from the ladies, while Luigi comes out and gives Claude something to do, not even introducing himself first. He asks Claude to go get his girl Misty from the hospital and to keep his hands to himself.
So keep your hands on the wheel. If you don't mess this up, maybe there'll be more work for you.
This is typically the structure for missions in this game. Drive to an icon on the map, talk to someone, get a neat little cutscene, and then get an objective. Claude is a silent protagonist, so there's not really any back and forth. He's simply just a yes man for several people across the city. In fact, this game shows just how much there is no back and forth by having several missions given by written note that play out pretty much identical to ones with characters speaking the dialogue.
Marie and I have taken a little holiday together until you can get rid of this perverted voyeur.
Luigi in particular functions as a tutorial dealer. Each of his missions introduce some sort of new mechanic in the game, from driving to markers and learning your way around the city to casual homicide, and using a few storefronts available to you like the ammunition, a gun store, and the pay and spray, a way to change the look of your car and to lose your wanted level. He also introduces you to another character named Joey Leone, son of the leader of the Leone crime family, but more importantly, another person to get missions from. This is sort of the idea that the creators had going into this game. They wanted the storyline to be entertaining and well written and well acted, but they wanted missions more or less to introduce something new to the player that they can then take into the open world and have fun with in the sandbox environment. Like, hey, you can do this cool thing by the way, and here's how. Not every mission is an introduction to a new mechanic, but many are, especially in the first island. And at the very least, they at least offer some further unlockables like areas of the map and new weapons to buy at ammunition. So anyway, after doing some stuff here and there for Luigi, mostly moving his girls around the city and killing some rival pimps in the area, you eventually move on and do some odd jobs for Joey at his garage. These jobs end up being a little more important in the grand scheme of Liberty City. The first mission is actually a hit on a member of the rival crime family called the Forellis. Joey wants you to steal Mike Forelli's car while he's eating at the local diner and take it to 8-Ball's shop to be equipped with a car bomb and return it to its parking spot. Doing this for Joey nets you respect from the Leone family and 10 grand, a large sum of money compared to the cash that Luigi was handing out earlier. But from here on out, money isn't really an issue in the game. It's incredibly easy to come by, with some later missions handing out 30k or more, and there really isn't anything to spend it on. You can buy guns and ammo from ammunition, and you can pay and spray cars for $1,000 a pop, but very soon you're sitting on 6 figures in the game and it's all meaningless. This is something that is fixed in later games with the ability to buy properties and vehicles and many more things, but in this game it's almost non-essential to have, and the rewards feel pretty shallow. There are 2 points in the game where you need a certain dollar amount to proceed, but neither dollar amount is hard to achieve, and in both instances you get the money back after completing the next mission. Anyway, back to Joey. After waging war on the Forelli family, the next mission has Joey waging war on the triads in the area by killing a noodle stand owner named Chucky for selling a new drug on the streets called Spank, something that is slowly starting to consume the city and, as you see, plays a large part in the whole game. From here, he has you do some odds and ends for the family, aiding in their business practices. You rob a money transport van, you dispose of cars that have bodies in the trunk, and you become the getaway driver in a bank heist. Some high level stuff, earning even more respect and money from the family. And along the way, you get introduced to another associate of the Leone family, Tony Cipriani, who also ends up being the protagonist in the later GTA title called Liberty City Stories. Tony seems to be the guy in the family that has the biggest biggest problems with the triads. Or at least he's the one in charge of handling the situation, with most of his missions revolving around them and increasing the tension between the Leones and the triads. The cutscenes for these missions also end up being some of the most entertaining due to Tony's mother often screaming at him from the window like a typical angry Italian mother who is just pissed off at the world and thinks that her son can never live up to his father's legacy. These two reminded me a lot of Tony Soprano and his mother with the way that their interactions go.
Sorry, Ma. Yes, Ma. I want you to destroy their laundry.
When Dad died, you're gonna do all kinds of things.
Oh, he was a saint.
Yeah, I know he was, but he's gone. You're gonna travel, you're gonna get a volunteer job, you've done nothing.
Stop telling me how to live my life. You just shut up.
Most of his missions revolve around destroying Triad property, like laundry vans and a fish factory, and killing high-ranking members of the gang. While doing these missions, you also get a sense for some of the gang affiliations and established neighborhoods in the game. Anytime you start driving through Triad territory now, they will immediately start shooting at you, something that you'll see more often in the game as you continue to piss more people off. During the process of Tony's missions, you end up meeting the boss man himself, Salvatore Leone, an obvious play on Don Vito Corleone. You even end up doing a few jobs for the Don directly, like chaperoning his wife Maria to parties, and killing off an associate who started working with other gangs in the city, Curly Bob, who's a bartender at Luigi's Club and has been leaking information with the Colombian cartel in exchange for some spank, the new drug that's been hitting the streets. This opens up the story to actually having a plot here. When spying on Curly Bob, Claude notices that the people he's meeting up with are none other than Miguel and Catalina. He's furious. I mean, he doesn't say anything, and his facial expressions don't really change, but you just know he's gotta be pretty peeved. They are running this release of spank and attempting to infiltrate the city from all fronts. In Portland, they have a giant cargo ship and they're unloading spank from it. Learning of this himself, Salvatore decides to blow the whole thing up, literally. He asks Claude and 8-Ball to bomb the damn ship and bring it down. This is one of the missions that require a cash advance to proceed. In this case, $150,000, which is small change to the amount of money that you should have at this point. This is also the first mission in the game that gave me some problems as far as gameplay goes. It's definitely not the worst mission in the game, but the logic behind 8-Ball's actions make no sense and made it frustrating to deal with. He hides out while you take advantage point and snipe the cartel members that are on the boat so that he can run on and plant the bombs. But he doesn't wait for you to clear them all out before he starts running in. Instead, he'll just run on a determined path, and if you happen to not kill the cartel members in that path yet, he runs directly into their line of fire and he dies nearly instantly. Why doesn't he just wait until everyone's dead? I guess he's just an impatient dude, because he also plans for the bombs to explode immediately after planting them, nearly killing himself. Why not just have a longer timer to safely get off the boat? 8-Ball is a wild man. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure this is the last time you see him in the game. Anyway, the boat gets sunk and the Leones are happy. Salvatore has some final requests that he wants you to do before you celebrate though. He asks you to dispose of another car that is full of brains. They had to help some guy make up his mind, I guess. But anyway, it's simple protocol. Take the car to the car crusher and destroy the evidence. However, on the way, you get a page from Maria, the Don's wife. She tells you that the car is a trap and to meet her on a slip below the Callahan Bridge. Turns out, Salvatore was trying to kill you. The car was rigged to explode and it's all because of Maria actually. She decided to tell her husband, the Don of the Mafia, that you and her were a thing. She doesn't know why she did it, she just did it. Just bored, I guess. So she decided to make you a marked man by the Mafia on an island now run by the Mafia because you helped them take out all of their enemies. She thankfully has a change of hearts and decides to get you off the island. Along with her friend Asuka, you hop on a boat and head over to Staunton Island, the next stop in Liberty City. Staunton Island is much different than Portland in many ways. It's based around Manhattan, so it has things like Central Park and Times Square, but it also has a business district rather than an industrial area, so the environment is a lot different. Most notably, the cars. You get to finally see some really sweet rides in this game, like the Cheetah, the Stinger, and the Infernus. 3 cars that have been in nearly every Grand Theft Auto game since, and for good reason. These things are dope. In Portland, the only nice cars that you can get are the Mafia Sentinel and the Banshee that you steal from the showroom behind 8Ball's garage. Good cars, but there's clearly a class difference here. So anyway, being betrayed by the Mafia after helping them out truly burned Claude. So he's quick to turn to another affiliation and get revenge on the Leone family. And of course, in the long run, get revenge on Catalina and Miguel. Turns out Maria's friend Asuka is a member of the Yakuza and offers Claude an opportunity to work with their organization under one condition. He kills Salvatore Leone. So just like that, the biggest threat in the city as you know it is now the man that you're set out to kill. Bada bing bada boom. Mafioso dead, you're officially in with the Yakuza. Asuka introduces you to her brother Kenji. He doesn't like you at all, but he does offer you some more work as well. The Yakuza missions follow the same structure as the Mafia missions. Instead of transporting hookers and killing pimps, you take out FBI surveillance teams and reporters with dirt on the Yakuza to keep them out of prison. And once you start doing jobs for Kenji, you start helping them take over rival turf on Staunton Island from the Yardies and the Colombian cartel. Similar to how you took out the Forellis and the Triads for the Mafia in Portland. Along the way, you get introduced to the Yakuza's informants inside the LCPD, a dirty cop named Ray, who of course starts handing out jobs for you to do as soon as you meet. Ray has you doing things to keep his head above water from the IA, like torching a snitch's apartment, destroying some evidence, and killing his old partner, and then killing him again when he didn't die the first time. He also has you defending his old army friend from the cartel. This guy here, Phil, he's pretty funny. He says he lost his arm in Nicaragua, but you learn in later titles where he shows up that he's just a dumb redneck. You gotta love him though.
Oh, damn!
From Ray, you also get your last contact in the game, a guy named Donald Love. Remember that mission for Ray where you're destroying evidence as you ram it out of a truck on the road? Well, that evidence was photos of Donald Love at a corpse-eating party. Not a metaphor or anything, this guy is straight up a cannibal, and he turns out to be really creepy, especially in later titles.
This is good. It tastes just like chicken, but somehow more, sentient.
Donald brings you back on track to getting closer to the Colombians, but not so you can get to Catalina and Miguel, but for his own personal interest. First things first though, he wants you to help get his friend back from the cartel, an old oriental gentleman that we saw at the very beginning of the game. The cartel kidnapped him for the sole purpose of getting ransom from Donald Love. But little does the cartel know, on that fateful day they also freed the man that will take their whole organization down. 8Ball's crazy ass. So you raid this little compound and rescue this old man, and it turns out that he's Donald's private Tai Chi instructor. No context given, that's it. After this, he asks you to kill Kenji, the man in the Yakuza that you've been doing jobs for already. Yeah, he doesn't really like you, but the Yakuza has treated you better than the Mafia did. Claude is gonna have some hangups about this for sure, right? I mean, he isn't even doing it because Kenji needs to die exactly. Donald wants it done in a Colombian vehicle, so it in turn starts a gang war between the Yakuza and the cartel for the sole reason of lowering real estate prices. Claude's got to put his foot down here, right? Killing what some can call a friend for such a dumb reason. Nope, Kenji gets turned into roadkill. I will say though, it took many tries to make Kenji roadkill. He's surrounded by dudes with guns and they shred through your car fast as hell, and you can't get out of your car because then they would know it wasn't the cartel that killed him, but eventually Kenji is roadkill. After these two missions from Donald Love, the last remaining island in Liberty City becomes available. And it is with this island and these final missions in the game comes to a close. The final island in the game, called Shoreside Vale, is an island based off the idea of New Jersey. It's a more residential area with more houses than businesses, but it also has the airports of the city as well as a giant dam. It is also one of the hardest places to get around. There's lots of streets that overlap one another and several verticality differences, and it makes getting to markers on the minimap extra confusing. You can refer back to my minimap rant earlier for context. I mean shit, even the AI gets confused in this place. The reason you come to Shoreside Vale in the first place is to retrieve mysterious packages for Donald Love. An aircraft drops these packages into the water and you're supposed to collect them in a boat. So you do just that and return back to Donnie, getting a hefty wanted level for it too. Turns out those packages were not even the real packages, they were a decoy, because, well, that's just business. Now you gotta get the real package, and it's at the airport in a private hangar. But as Claude arrives, the cartel is already there and the package, well, isn't. You kill the fools that stayed behind and then you find out where the others ran off to by using some superior detective intellect and reading the giant logo plastered on the van that they decided to bring to the hangar. Like, why did they bring this van to the hangar instead of their typical cartel trucks that they've been driving the whole game? The world may never know. Anyway, the vans lead you to the construction site on Staunton Island. You kill more cartel dudes as you arrive, and then you take the elevator all the way to the top to finally come face to face with the two people that Claude has been looking for, Catalina and Miguel. Claude gets the drop on them while they're trying to leave with their package, and Miguel decides to surrender since there's no winning that fight. Catalina is astonished Claude is even alive, and then she calls Miguel a pussy for backing down.
Left you pouring your heart out into the gutter!
Hey, don't shoot, amigo. No problem. We all friends? Here,
Don't be
take
such a
this.
pussy!
Hey, we got no choice, baby.
We always got a choice, you dumb bastard.
She shoots him in the back and does an Assassin's Creed swan dive off the tower. And like Assassin Man, I don't know his name, sorry, I never played those games, she lands in a conveniently placed stack of boxes and lives to see another day. Miguel is still alive, but he soon is going to wish that he wasn't because seemingly out of nowhere, Asuka shows up and has her eyes set on the injured Colombian because she thinks that he killed her brother. Claude's got to be loving the schemes that are going on at this point, as he exits the tower and he brings Donald his precious package. You do a few more missions for Donald that revolve around this package. A package, by the way, that you never even know the contents of. It's like the suitcase from Pulp Fiction. No one knows what it is, but everybody wants it. You defend an armored van with the package as the Tai Chi instructor takes it to get authenticated. The cartel tries to blow the van up the whole time, and this is another mission that really grinds my gears. All the vehicles in Liberty City are a bad farts away from exploding in the middle of the street. Seriously, it takes approximately 4 fender benders to render the car useless. So with that in mind, the cars I was using to defend an armored fucking truck ended up getting destroyed, and then I had to scramble to find more cars in time to stop the cartel from destroying the truck, usually resulting in failure. I finally had enough and decided to use the tank cheat code to escort the truck, but that almost turned out badly as well by running into the truck itself, which, if you didn't know, any vehicle that bumps into the tank immediately explodes. So that would have been bad, especially since we were forced to take the tunnels for some reason, which forced the perspective in the tank to first person, making it really hard to see what I may or may not bump into. And after finessing my way through the tunnel, I still almost fail because the damn tank had no acceleration to get up the hill. The van ended up having 0 health left at the end. Like, I don't know how I passed it this time. This game must have known that I was about to toss my computer out the window if they didn't just give me a mission success on this one. So anyways, the van arrives to the place safely, and then Donald needs you to get the world off of his nuts. It seems everybody wants this damn package. Everyone, even the FBI and the military, I guess. He wants you to go take a decoy security van and drive around for a few minutes, distracting the police and leading them away from the building. This gives you a 6-star wanted level, which is usually impossible to live through for too long. But surprisingly it's not that bad in this mission. There were a few blockades, but no tanks at least. I lasted the 3 minutes and then I used the wanted level cheat to quickly get it over with. This is the last time that you hear from old Donnie as well. You show up to his building for the next mission and he's just not there. There's no sign of him. He used your distraction and he got the hell out of there. I hope he and his Tai Chi friend are at least happy somewhere, and hopefully not eating more people. After Donald's disappearance, it's now time for you to help your old buddy Ray disappear as well. The FBI is cracking down on Spank in the city, and with that they are cracking down on the local police force, and Ray's dirty ass is in the hot seat. You have to get Ray to the airport, but you gotta avoid the bridges because the the FBI is posted up there. So I looked up a guide on this mission because I was again having trouble, and one said you can drive to the island through the subway system, which, one, I had no idea this game had a subway system, that's pretty fucking cool, and two, the fragile ass cars couldn't make the bumps it took to turn around in the walkways of the station. And when you get out of the car for fear that it might explode, Ray can't seem to function. It's like he only knows how to live in a car and in that bathroom in Central Park. So eventually I used the tank cheat code again for this mission and just drove it across the fucking bridge. Goodbye, Ray. He leaves you a key to his stash of guns and a nice Hummer H1 and also sends a page saying, "See you in Miami," giving a little hint to the player of the next game to come. The 3 final missions before the big finale of the game are given by Asuka, and they are essentially all missions to stomp the cartel out of existence, and all 3 of them were aggravating. The cutscenes at the beginning were pretty entertaining, at least, as she is torturing Miguel the whole time, getting information from him. Information that she uses to then enact a revenge plan on the cartel. Maria even shows up to help out at one point.
Do we tighten it some more now or just wait for it to turn black and fall off?
Give it a quick prod.
Oh, what is that gooey yellow stuff?
The first mission, she wants you to lead 3 cars filled with Colombian death squads to a trap and get them killed. This mission wasn't too bad. This is where the AI had some issues with Shoreside Vale's roads though. I was up on this hill waiting for them to follow me and they got stuck at the bottom because how close we were. It's just we were a couple hundred feet difference in verticality. But all in all, it's not really a bad mission. I ended up getting a bunch of Yakuza killed because I wanted to see the cartel car explode a little bit closer, and I moved the car too close to the Yakuza guys with guns. But other than that, it was a pretty good mission. It was pretty good. The second mission, Asuka wants Claude to destroy espresso stands around the city because that's how the cartel has been dealing spank. The problem, this spans all 3 islands. You are told to destroy 9 stands, but you're not told where the stands are. And refer back to my minimap problems with knowing where to go, especially when having to leave the island for another. I ended up using a guide on this one too because it's timed and I didn't have time to fuck around. Even with the guide, I would still fail because I was using my car to ram the stands to explode them. I don't really know why, but I was. But refer back to my fragile cars rant and you'll see how that's a problem. Combine that with driving through tons of enemy territory since everyone is an enemy at this point in the game, especially the Leones and Portland, they just fucked me right up. Eventually I got it. I just destroyed the stands with a bazooka and drove like a maniac. The final mission given by Asuka, she wants you to destroy a cartel plane arriving at the airport with a bunch of drugs on board. For some reason, she tells you to get a boat and shoot the plane down above the water and then use the boat to collect the packages or some shit. I don't know. That's fucking stupid. On multiple fronts. Ignore all that shit. Just drive to the airport itself and shoot the damn plane as soon as it touches the ground. I'm just mad that I even had to get in the boat in the first place. After this, you go back to the construction site and you arrive to find that Asuka and Miguel are dead, and Maria is missing. Catalina got tired of Asuka messing with cartel business, so she took care of it, and she captured Maria in order to take care of Claude too. She leaves a note behind telling Claude to bring $500,000 cash to get Maria back. This is the second and obviously final time that you need a certain dollar amount to progress into the game, and like the first time, you should easily have enough money to proceed. Claude arrives at Catalina's mansion in Shoreside Vale. This is actually the only mission that actually starts in Shoreside Vale, oddly enough. She of course stabs Claude in the back and she takes the money and then immediately orders her men to kill him. They took your weapons when you arrived, but luckily Claude knows some sick moves to take out the guy behind him and steal his pistol that you're supposed to use to kill the rest of the cartel guys. But little do they know, I'm tired of playing this game, and if I just type in guns, 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 I can all of a sudden pull an M16 out of my asshole. After killing all the cartel dudes, Catalina escapes in a helicopter. You follow the helicopter to a dam where she's holed up, and you don't get a map marker, so I just followed the helicopter like they said, and I got to the helicopter, but I didn't know what I was supposed to do from here. It was on top of this building, and I'm here, but it's not where Rockstar wanted me to be. I had to go down this little path here, killing all these dudes in the way first, of course. Anyway, as soon as you get closer to Catalina, she realizes I used cheat codes and she tries to dip, but I blew her dumbass up, almost killing myself in the process because I'm a dumbass too. But from here, you kill whatever Colombians are remaining and then you retrieve Maria. For why? I honestly don't know. She fucked you over in the first place. Why did you even go out of your way to save her. I would have just killed Catalina for the revenge, you know, and then just left Maria, because why? But Claude's a good dude, I guess. You walk off into the sunset with Maria blabbling the whole damn time, until all you hear is a gunshot and then she shuts up. Did Claude kill her for fucking him over with the mafia? Or just because she's annoying? Or did he just shoot his gun in order to shut her up? The world may never know. It's like the ending of The Sopranos. We never really know if Tony got the gabagool or not.
I broke a nail and my hair is ruined. I mean, can you believe it? This one cost me $50.
There are plenty of good and bad things to say about this game, but the most important part of this game's existence isn't the game itself. In fact, I don't even recommend that you play this game if you haven't. It's miserable in a lot of moments. But what happened after this game is truly the reason that this game is a masterpiece. Rockstar looked at this game and realized, if we just do exactly this, but better, then we have a fucking thing here. And then all of a sudden, 1 year later, Vice City. 2 years later, San Andreas. Another year later, Liberty City Stories. Vice City Stories right after that. 2008, GTA 4. The Lost and the Damned. The Ballad of Gay Tony. And the most recent title, GTA 5, being a monumentally depressing 10 years ago in 2013. They captured lightning in a bottle and executed awesome game after awesome game, improving on everything each time. More vehicles, more characters, more violence, more voice acting, more exploration, everything that started back in Grand Theft Auto 3. They continue to bring it to new places with new things to do. There's a reason Grand Theft Auto 5 is still one of the most played games of all time, even 10 years after its release. Online multiplayer monetization. But honestly, it's because it's a dope ass game too. It's been a very long time since I played Grand Theft Auto 3 and even the other 3D universe titles like Vice City and San Andreas, but I gotta say, after struggling through GTA 3 a little bit, I am really excited to dive into these other games and see just what all was changed and enjoy the new creature comforts that Rockstar added, and seeing how the games evolved from some modern eyes looking back at them. But that's all for GTA 3 for now. Hope you enjoyed this little thing here, and if you made it this long into the video, maybe you should join the Discord. It's full of some cool people and I'm trying to get a little bit more going on there. Want to go ahead and give a shout out to my patrons: Schwindler's List, Kid Kingpin, Not Much, Anonymous Starkweather, Crash Bandicoot 25, Zachary Parkerson, Potty, Ben Stevens, Ice Ham Jello, Gran Taquito, Yay Man, and Marshall Duff. And my YouTube members, THC Grey Wolf, Grizzly Wizzly, and Sexy Pickles. As always, thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Peace.